G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to the first round review of 2021. Look, to be quite honest, I'm not really happy sitting here doing this review. I'm really disappointed with my opening score. An overall rank of 35k, didn't manage to hit the 2000 mark with my round score, 1957, as you can see on the screen there. So certainly not ideal, but at the same time, I'm not losing hope. I'll quickly show you this. My best overall finish was 33rd, a long time ago now, back in 2014. And you can see after round one, my rank was 29,340. So that goes to show you that there is a lot of time to make a comeback, and you don't need to lose complete faith with your team at the moment. But look, as I said, yeah, I'm still very, very disappointed with that. Look, Matty Rao went down. I'm not a Rao owner, but felt terrible for that young fella. Look, he's one of the most exciting players to watch in the competition, and even though I don't own him, I certainly got no joy after hearing about his injury. And look, for me, it was just one of those weekends. It started on the Friday night very quickly because I'll get into this review. I left my laptop at school, so I didn't have time to go back and get it because I had my under 11s footy training. So I didn't have my laptop for the weekend. Unbelievably, then lose my phone at training. Haven't got a phone at the moment. Saturday, I had 2 kids' time zone parties. Then a family reunion on the Saturday night, which I'd completely forgotten about. Last minute, had to rush to that. And then even on the Sunday morning, the under-11s had their first practice match. So I had to go down there and coach that and spent half the morning down there at the football club. So my advice to all new super coaches usually is that first weekend of Supercoach, do not make any commitments. Stay at home. Listen out for those late changes. You know, the medical sub, that's new this year. Make sure you listen out for that. So didn't have a laptop, didn't have a phone. Couldn't do any of that, and I was so busy. So absolutely shattering for me. Can't believe that I managed to forget about that reunion as well. But look, it is what it is. We do have time to make a bit of a comeback. Look, for me, I can't base a lot of this review on actually watching the matches myself because, as I said, I was so busy. I did catch a couple of the matches, so I can give a bit more of an in-depth review about the players that I actually watched. But for the other ones, I'm really just looking at the raw numbers. So let's get into it and see how these players actually went. So we'll start off in defence. Jake Lloyd, 98. Obviously, the Seagull only ordered a small bowl of chips just to start off the round. So, look, I'm not overly concerned with that. Look, disappointed when you're paying $656,000 for someone. But at the same time, don't forget that in round one last year, he did go, I think it was a 77, well below par, and did not go under the ton for the rest of the year. So I'm certainly not losing faith on the Seagull, but hopefully he orders a medium to large this week. Rory Laird, 102. You're hoping for a little bit more, but if you're going over 100 as a defender, I don't think it's the end of the world. He'll go a lot better than that, I think, during the season. Coming up against a fairly good midfield in Geelong, I think he'll go okay during the season. That's fine. Tommy Stewart, 113. He just did what Tommy Stewart did. All that I wanted to see, and yeah, wrap to own Tommy Stewart. I just think he's going to be one of those consistent picks that you can rely on week to week. Jaden Short, he was actually getting tagged. I think it was Fogarty, I'm not sure how you say his last name, that was actually tagging Short. But look, he still got to 100. That's okay with me. Not an absolute disaster by any stretch of the imagination, but you would have liked a 110 plus from him. But I'll cop 100 for the first round. That's okay. Jordan Clark, 80 as well. Well, I think anything around that 80 mark is acceptable for Clark, and he's got a high ownership, so lots of people are getting that score, and yeah, pretty happy with that. Not disappointed at all. And Butts, I think he did a pretty good job on Tommy Hawkins. I did watch the first quarter of this match, and I was really impressed with him. I don't know what he would have been on quarter time, but it would have been that 25 to 30 mark I would have predicted anyway from what I saw. A couple of nice intercept marks. I think 1 or 2 may have even been contested, so I was pretty happy with him, but didn't actually get to see the rest of the match, unfortunately. Cozzy, a 53, that's okay. And Highmore, a 60, sorry. I think he'll be a pretty reliable rookie for us. So, onto the midfield. Lachie Neale, 77. I am actually pretty concerned with this pick, to be quite honest. Look, I was a little bit worried about the pick, but at the same time I thought, no, look, everything will be okay come the start of the season. But he just did not look like the Lachie Neale of old. Even in the pre-season match, he didn't look great for most of the match, and then I think it was 13 disposals in one quarter, and I thought, oh, look, he's probably just taken the foot off the pedal a little bit here. 13 disposals in the quarter. He's shown me what he can do. You know, when it comes round one, he'll be back to his best. But look, a 77 from Neale is certainly far from ideal. And look, someone like a Sammy Walsh, who I was really, really close to selecting this year, he did much better than Neale, beating by around 50 points. So that is a big concern for me, but I'm certainly not trading him out this week anyway. Oliver, 122. Great game from him. What I expected around that 120 mark. A lock for me and my side since basically day one of the team picker. So happy with him. One of my best scores for the week. If not my best score, I think, from anyone. Merritt, 105. Yeah, again, that's okay. But his disposal count, I thought that score could have been a little bit more. I, again, didn't see much of the game, so can't make a really great opinion on that one. But yeah, 105, a little bit disappointing for his possession count. Oh, Dangerfield, this bloke. I did a lot to get him into my side, made a lot of sacrifices. I sacrificed Daniel as another defender down back to bring this bloke in. And look, his defence, I heard it today, was that he was trying to protect himself. That's ludicrous, I think. They're not going to buy that. And he's looking at 3 or more weeks gone. You got to trade him, I think. I'm just predicting that he will be rubbed out. I don't think they're going to buy that story, as I said. Who do we trade him to? Well, it's going to be a big decision for me. Look, 611,000. I've got some options with him because I can either bring in a forward or I can bring in a midfield. So the issue with bringing in someone like a Dusty, you'll see in a minute in my forward line, I do not have Dusty, is that lots of people already have him. And by me jumping on this week, not only am I down a trade on those people that have got Dusty, I'm also down on that really, really big score. And I'm not one to be chasing points. And I did say with Dusty at the start of the season that he would have some of those really nice scores, but then he does come back to earth. But to be honest, he looked like just a different beast, didn't he? There was a couple of times where I just thought, nah, he can't get the ball, but he just willed himself, put his body on the line. It just seems like if the ball's in his vicinity, he's either going to get it himself or he'll receive the ball somehow. He's just such a dangerous player when he's on, but he really did look interested. Is he going to look disinterested come, the next couple of rounds? I'm not too sure. It has happened in the past where he's made a pretty nice start to the season, then really tapered off a lot. But yeah, I'm not keen on bringing in Dusty for that fact. I'm down a trade and I'm down on that big score. So someone I'm looking at, and this bloke I did not contemplate starting during the season because I thought that his body's just not going to be right, is Titch. So I think he's got a really low ownership at the moment, and he's someone I'm possibly looking to bring in. But look, I did have those concerns, and I know that he got 17 in a quarter, and I got excited about Lachie Neale's 13 possession quarter in the pre-season match. So I don't know how much to take from that. I didn't watch the game myself. So if I do decide to trade him in, I'm going to watch the game very carefully myself, but he's one of the options. I'm just not sure at the moment. I haven't really had time to think about it, and we obviously need to hear the decision, but I think it's going to be pretty obvious, the Dangerfield one. Paddy Dow, I was pretty much jumping for joy. I did get to watch this match at half time, and then I don't know what happened to him. He's not a great user of the ball. We knew that, but yeah, was not great by foot. Not a great decision maker, but did look pretty exciting at the start of the match. Managed to kick a goal, which was nice, but a 60, it's not really what you want from a 202k player when you're getting very similar scores from those blokes closer to the 117 and 123k mark. But again, not an absolute disaster. Hopefully bounces back, but I'm worried about his centre bounce attendances with Zach Williams to come back this week. I thought this is the week for Dow to really stamp himself on the game, but he just didn't do that, unfortunately. Tommy Powell, 53. Yeah, you want a 70 plus. Well, I was predicting a 70 plus from Powell, but a 53, that's okay in round one from a rookie. Berry, 59, an absolute tackling beast. You can see there, obviously, that I've got Golden on the bench. That's certainly not great, but I did have the emergency on James Jordan, and I thought, look, a 78, I'll certainly take that. So 5 came on for him, and that was basically a choice of Berry and Goulden, and I thought that, I keep on pronouncing his name different, don't I? Golden, Goulden, you know who I'm talking about, Errol. I'll just call him Errol, but yeah, it was a choice between Berry and Errol, and I thought, look, probably that forward role with Errol there, playing Brisbane at the Gabba. I thought that we'd take care of the Swans pretty easily, to be quite honest, without trying to get ahead of myself, but I think most people would have thought that. It was either him or Berry, sort of, look, I know he was playing Geelong, but playing in the midfield, a contested style player, probably looking to take over that Matty Crouch role. I was a little bit more keener on him, so I did miss out on that massive score. Extremely disappointed about that, but he looked absolutely terrific during that match. What a great pickup for the Swans. Yeah, for those people that had that 139 on field, you would have been absolutely wrapped, and I was just shattered not to even have the emergency on him. But yeah, I'll probably field him this week. Brockman, that was disappointing, but again, yeah, I'm not really concerned. Just that bench player. Hopefully goes well. Hopefully keeps his spot on the side. Jordan, I was really impressed with, actually. Again, scored really well and then tapered off towards the end of the game. But I'll take a 78 every day of the week from Jordan. I think he's actually going to be a pretty good rookie pick, to be quite honest. I'll zoom in a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better. So the title of the video was What the Ruck? Max Gawn, Brody Grundy, and Matty Flynn. If you had have given me the scores 140, 93, and a 70, I would have said, okay, well, Gawn, 140, nice start from him. Beautiful captaincy score there for me. Lock in a 280. Grundy at a 93, I would have thought, yeah, certainly below his best, but not a disaster, not the end of the world. And Flynn with a 70, again, would have been absolutely over the moon with. But that wasn't the case at all. Matty Flynn, a 140. Did not get to watch the game, but he must have absolutely dominated. He's got Freo this week, so coming up against the other popular rookie that some people have. But remember, he did come up against Hunter for that 140. In rounds 3 and 4, he does face Grundy and Gawn. I think that'll be a huge test for him. And those people that are fielding him at the moment with that 140, absolutely wrapped. But don't forget last year, I was doing the same thing when I didn't select Gawn and I had Sammy Naismith in the side. And we all know what happened to him. Got injured the next week. So certainly don't count your chickens just yet, those people that didn't start with Grundy or Gawn. But look, I don't know what to do with this because I really do need one more week to look at the ruck situation across the board, not just Gawn and Grundy. But yeah, I am a little concerned that I have spent up too much in the rucks. I'm a big advocate for set and forget, and probably there was no other decision for me to start the season, to be quite honest. On reflection, you can go back, and in hindsight, you can say, yeah, look, it's spending way too much. But look, I'm still not losing the faith in these two blokes. I am certainly concerned, don't get me wrong, but we'll see what happens next round. Hopefully they can bounce back, I think. Into the forward line, as you can see, well, I already discussed I didn't have Dusty, but Josh Dunkley, 113. Didn't have a huge amount of time in the midfield, but again, a 113. I'll lock that in every day of the week. Spent enough time in there and did score okay when he was forward as well. Tommy Phillips, a 90. Again, I'm okay with this score. Hopefully he can push that average up 95 to 100, but I think his role's okay. I think he spent a little bit of time on the inside as well. So 90, that's not a bad score from him just to start off the season, but I want a little bit more coming up in the next few rounds. Zeeble, 113. Remember, Luke McDonald didn't play, but that's absolutely terrific, a 113. He's had 3 really good matches in a row, Zeeble, so I think he'll make us some really, really good cash and could be one of our last upgrades. Look, if you're really desperate and run out of trades for some reason, maybe we could even leave him there at F6 at a bit of a stretch. Impy 64, now it's not really what you want, is it, from a guy that you pay 212k for. I could have probably downgraded him to another rookie, had an extra 80k up my sleeve, but I really don't know what I would have done with that. It was certainly a decision that I was contemplating. Do I just have that 80k in the bank for a rainy day? But it was probably Bergman or Jones that was going to come in for Impy. Bergman, I didn't really like his job security, and Jones, I didn't really like his scoring potential. So I thought, look, worst comes to worst, I can always downgrade him when it comes to the end of round 2 when we make those 2 rookie correction trades usually. But a 64, again, it's not an overly bad score, but you want a 75 plus. Or I was hoping for a 75 plus from Impy. So hopefully another 10 points on that score next week. Campbell, 56. Again, you probably want more of a 65 plus from him, but you'll take a 56 of the first round. That's okay. Warner, a 70, probably what I was hoping and expecting. You can't go wrong with a 70 for someone who you pay 144k for. He looks like a pretty exciting player. I think all the young swans hold their spot. There's certainly no reason to drop any of these blokes, and job security, I think, is pretty good for your Campbell, Warner, and Errol as well. Rowe, shattered that I didn't have this bloke on field, but if you look at my rookies there, really it probably wouldn't have made sense to field him over a Warner, Campbell, Impy, and certainly not a Zeeble. So again, in hindsight, you could say, why didn't I have Rowe on field? But a small forward for Adelaide coming up against Geelong, I just didn't think that was the right decision to make. So I can't really complain about that. But at the same time, you're still wrapped to get 104 out of him because that's automatic cash generation for us. And last one on the field there, or not on the field, that I've got as my emergency there at F8 is Anthony Scott. 56, again, from a bloke that we're paying 102k for, that is ideal. And if you compare that to an Impy, what's that, 8 points less, and you're paying half the price. So that's why the Impy selection, on reflection, probably isn't a good one. Also with Dale, if I had have sort of gone for those 123k blokes, there's an extra 160 grand, and you actually can do something with that as compared to something around the 80k mark. But yeah, look, for me, that is the side. I'll just zoom out. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you had a better start to the season than me, but look, I can't really have too many regrets. Dangerfield, you know, a slight regret there that maybe I didn't go 5 deep in defence, but it is what it is. You know, you got to back your gut with these things. And as I showed you before, if you've had a bad start to round one, certainly don't let it get you down. Very, very rarely do the top teams in round one in the season in the top bracket of sides. Look, I think it's a little bit different this year because I did check out the team that did finish first overall, and I will do a video, a quick review video on that in the next couple of days about that side as well. I'm pretty impressed with the side, so yeah, I will go into that in a little bit more depth. And remember, I will have the SuperCoach stock market videos out. I won't have it this week because obviously the prices don't change, but next week it's going to be a big episode because we have some major decisions on our hands with the first round of price changes. So take care, guys. Hope all is well, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.